Hi everyone. Now we'll see about the joint probability. So the word remembers joint, meaning that jointly we are doing. Jointly, both of you, jointly you do, like that we will tell. No, the joint probability means it is the joint occurrence of one or two events. So jointly means it's not the single, we are going for more than one. Joint probability means the probability of occurrence of both the events. Okay, so here joint probability states that we are having a sample space S. In the sample space, we are having two events A and B, which are not mutually exclusive. So why we are using this not mutually exclusive means mutually exclusive events means there is no common part between the two events. If I say not mutually exclusive means there is a common part between A and B. Okay, so that is the common part is the requirement for us. Okay, so if a sample space consists of two events A and B which are not mutually exclusive, then the probability of these events occurring jointly or simultaneously is called the joint probability. Occurrence of both events at the same time jointly are called the joint probability. So in other words, the joint probability of events A and B is equal to the relative frequency of joint occurrence. Okay, so if you take, we are performing an experiment n number of times, okay, n number of times, and the joint occurrence of events A and B is n of AB times. Then the joint probability of events A and B is given by P of A intersection B. So why we are calling it as intersection means intersection is the common part between both A and B. So if you see in the sets, we are having this sample space. Yes, and we are saying that we are having two events A and B which are not mutually exclusive. That's why we are writing some common part between A and B. Okay, this is called A intersection B. A intersection B means the place where both A and B events occur. So here this event A occurs. Okay, here this event B. So what is the common part between A and B here? If I see the common part between A and B, okay, this is the common part where A occurs and B occurs. So that's why the joint probability is called as the joint occurrence of both A and B. So that's why we're writing A probability of A intersection B. A intersection B is the common part between A and B events. So now we are writing the formula for the joint probability. P of A intersection B is equal to, by using the relative frequency, limit n tends to infinity. So if you remember the probability definition, normal probability definition, probability of favorable outcomes divided by the total outcomes. If you remember the main form, normal formula whenever we learn in our school days, favorable outcomes divided by the total outcomes. Here favorable outcomes. What we are saying here is intersection. How many times both A and B occurs? How many times we told that n of AB times? The number of favorable outcomes is n of AB, both. The number of times both A and B occurs divided by total. How many total? N. So this is the formula according to the relative frequency for the joint probability. P of A intersection B is equal to limit n tends to infinity n of AB by n, where n is the number of times the experiment performed, n of AB is the number of times both A and B occurs, jointly occurs. Okay, now if we remember, we are having a formula P of A intersection B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A union B. Otherwise, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Both are same. Now here, what we are having, P of A intersection B is not equal to 0. Here we are not having 0 probability. So we are having some intersection. Then if this is not equal to 0, then what we can say that P of A union B if P of A union B is less than or equal to P of A plus P of B. So we can say that the probability of union of two events is always less than or equal to the sum of the individual probabilities. Because here the joint probability is not equal to 0. If A and B are mutually exclusive events, then P of A intersection B is 0, because mutually exclusive means there is no common part. Then we can say P of A intersection B is 0. There is no common. There is no occurrence of both events A and B same time. Then P of A intersection B is 0. Then we can say P of A union B is P of A plus P of B. Okay. So if there is some joint occurrence, then we can say that the union is always less than or equal to sum of the individual probabilities. Okay. This is about the joint probability. Thank you.